Trend right now in the U.S. We want to bring in HLN legal analyst Joey Jackson. Joey, we always appreciate having you. Now, Josh Duggar was accused of molesting 5 underage girls, including siblings. He was 14 years old at the time, but I haven't even actually read, was he ever even charged with anything?
You know, interestingly enough, and good to see you, Coy, and of course you, Roxy, but, you know, interestingly enough, what happened apparently is that it was reported to the police, and the police undertook an investigation. There are police reports as to what occurred, keeping in mind that he was a minor at the time. Reports have him at 14 years old himself, and so therefore you wonder whether the juvenile court would have taken, certain hold of this. And so we have to understand that he was a minor himself, not that that excuses any offenses against anybody, but it certainly puts it in perspective in as much as whenever you're dealing with minors and juveniles, the focus is always on rehabilitation. When it comes to adults, the focus then, of course, becomes on punishment. And so apparently, in addition to that, Coy, also they went to the church and they received some counseling by the church, and he subsequently got counseling for that. And so that's what we know to this point about the matter.
Joey, but could he have been charged back then?
Certainly, and if he was charged, depending upon what the police found, and we don't know the quality of the evidence, the nature of the evidence, the nature of the cooperation of the actual teens that he was accused of fondling, but certainly there are statutes in Arkansas that take this very seriously, and so he could have been prosecuted, for example, sexual abuse in the second degree, which would have been a D felony. And so the issue now becomes whether he could be prosecuted now, and that's not likely. The statute of limitations is 3 years. It would be double jeopardy, also based upon the fact of whether he was prosecuted then. So there would be some problems moving forward at this point, Roxy.
Josh's statement says that he confessed to his parents and to authorities. What kind of role do the authorities have when a 14-year-old kid shows up at the police station with a confession like this, Joey?
Sure. Well, look, they're mandatory reporters, and as a result of that, generally speaking, there are some people who, if you alert, that you've engaged in this behavior, have to report it and have to investigate it. So police, at a minimum, would take a police report, and then they would, of course, refer it to the other authorities, which are the prosecuting entities. It would be investigated there, and if it's found to have merit, then, of course, it would be pursued. And by pursued, I mean he would be criminally prosecuted. And again, as a juvenile, but there are certain instances, if it was that severe, that they could elevate it to the next level, but apparently that never happened. Keeping in mind that the police report is from 2006, the allegations, of course, as to this conduct stem back as early as 2002, and again, he was 14 years old at the time that this occurred.
I do have a question for you, Joey, and in knowing that the brand now, we see that it's starting to be affected. TLC has now pulled the show from its channel. Oprah also gave them the boot, but these allegations happened so long ago. How is this going to affect their brand? And in the form that these allegations came out also, Joey, is there something that can be on their side because it's been dormant for so long?
Sure, and that's really the bigger problem. The bigger problem is not even so much, Roxy and Coy, the criminal prosecution, that apparently didn't happen as far as we know, whether it's juvenile or otherwise. The bigger problem for them now lies in the impairing of his value, the impairing of his brand, the impairing of his reputation based upon his own actions. And so therefore, there's morals clauses in all of our contracts, and that is that if there's something that's been done, certainly a network can take steps against you, and that's what we're seeing here. And so we'll see the steps as this reverberate for some time to come. Certainly we're seeing it now.
Awesome. HLN's legal analyst extraordinaire, Joey Jackson, we always love having you.